You done? Good. You blink, your eyelashes fluttering. I guess we're just waking up. Hello, everyone. I am Little McGriddle. Welcome. This is Once on a Windswept Night. I believe this is like a visual novel type game. As you can see, you don't know where you are or even who you are, and the room is dark. I don't know anything about this game, not even myself. No matter how you strain your eyes, you cannot make out any details. It's cold and quiet here, save for the panicked sound of your own breathing. Yeah, that sounds pretty panicky to me. I don't know. For all you know, you could be the only person alive in the whole world. That's stretching it. The world itself seems to have compressed as of late. It's small, shrunken down, no bigger than the size of a walnut. Are we living on Pluto? You are trapped inside, all on your own. Or are you? The longer you sit there or stand there, lie there, you cannot tell. The warmer your inert body becomes. Your fingers twitch. My fingers aren't twitching. Ah, yes, you have fingers. You remember now. Yes, we have fingers. Ooh. For a short while, though, it felt like much, much longer you had quite forgotten. You have fingers you can use to touch, a nose you can use to smell, and ears you can use to hear. Yes, this is normally what humans have. Arms and legs. Yep, that too. A head. Maybe most people don't have a head. You are a person, after all. The most dangerous creature in the world. It's fortunate that you remembered. You were beginning to doubt the nature of your own existence, lost amidst the aether of non-being. For all you knew, you could have been a cat, a dog, or an amoeba at the bottom of the ocean. Amoeba? Okay. You are not any of those things. You have remembered that you are a living creature, a human being to be more precise, and that has given you the right to live. Everything has the right to live, not just because you're a human being. It is a right afforded only to a precious few. You should cherish the life you have. That's right, everyone. You should cherish the life you have, not squander it or waste it away. You understand that now. If only your surroundings would become clearer, then you might be able to plan an escape route. Well, I don't know about you, but everything seems to be pitch black and dark. Not much surroundings there. You know that you can't stay here. It isn't safe. Oh. I don't like that. Ew. I don't like that sound. Robbed of your sight, your sense of... Okay, it's gone now. Sense of hearing is more acute than ever before. The sound of silence weighs heavily upon you, broken only by your own heart beating. Yes, it is beating. You take comfort in this fact. That organ pumping away inside your chest is proof that you were still alive. You exist. You do. How else will you test your existence? You open your mouth, forming shapes, all the vowel sounds. A, E, I, O, U. No sound comes out. Why should it? There's nobody here to talk to in this dark and desolate void. Though it would be nice if there was. Oh, we're stuck in a void? Great, wonderful. All of a sudden you hear it off in the distance. Perhaps it isn't so distant. It's a low crackling sound. Fire, perhaps? I hear a clock. Yeah, tick-tock, tick-tock. Then, the chink of china, the flipping of pages. The scent of peppermint tea and dust. Decades upon decades of dust. The cold, empty environment has spawned life, as though from your own desperate desire for company. Does that make you the center of the universe? You are not alone anymore. But you still cannot see a thing. You might as well be blind. You do not know if you're relieved or not by these sounds. They are cozy, yes, and should be familiar, but you are not sure where you might have heard them before. Maybe from another life. That sounds like a forest on fire or something. That doesn't sound like a fire in a fireplace. Maybe from another life. That could be possible. A past life. You swallow. Your throat feels dry. Well, of course. Because of the fire, Kira asks to propel you onwards. You take a slow, unsteady step forwards. The floorboards, it is a wooden floor, creak beneath your weight. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. An unfamiliar voice falls from your lips. It's a voice you have not heard before. You recognize it only by the virtue of the fact it speaks when you manipulate your mouth, your tongue pushed against your teeth. Your voice echoes throughout the darkened room. Dozens upon dozens of excuse me's repeat, circling about you like dust motes. The flipping of pages pauses. Still, the unseen fire continues to crackle. Somebody is looking at you. Really? I can't tell. I can't see anything. You can tell they're looking at you despite the thick darkness that envelops you. You shiver. Strain your eyes. Perhaps you can make out a few details here and there. Okay, a rocking chair, a wooden floor. There's someone sitting on it. Girl? Oh! Ew. Hi! Whoa. Oh my. It's been such a long while since I have had a visitor. She sighed softly. Is that a good thing? You must be lonely sitting in the dark for so long with nothing but books for company. How could she even read these books in the gloom? This reality seems to operate differently from the one you came from. It's probably better not to ask these things. I do apologize if the volume has been loud. Otherwise, the whole world might fall apart. Lycoris. My name is Lysaurus. May I inquire as to your title? Your title? She wants to know your name. This is an awfully good question, but you do not remember it yourself. Your brain strains as you try to pluck the first word you can think of from the air. What is your name? I don't know. What is her name? I'll just go with Chelsea. Is it? Lysaurus nods her head. You can see it shifting slightly in the gloom. Well, Chelsea, do you know where you are? You shake your head. You have no idea. You just happened to wake up here. This is quite natural. Most of my guests are wanderers, travelers if you will, who find themselves here for want of anywhere else to go. I am not overly fond of fancy names, so I suppose you could call this my library. You glance about. So it is a library after all, you did wonder. This library is filled with books from all over the world, including some which have not yet been written and some that need a helping hand. What does she mean? It is difficult to explain, but stories are not born from nothing, you know? Now, seeing that you are here, and I am here, and there is little else to do, would you care to help me? You don't understand. How could you be any help to her? There's a story in here that has been in a state of flux for quite some time. Okay. It is about a traveler much like yourself. Lysaurus pauses, she frowns. I'm getting ahead of myself. I apologize. In any event, would you like to listen to this story with me? You're curious. What kind of story is it? It is very important to me. I feel it is connected to my identity somehow, yet it rejects me. It shifts like sand when I try to peruse it, and the words do not stay in the correct order. Such a thing may not be possible in the world you come from, but this universe can be rather unfair. When we want things the most, they slip between our fingers. If you were with me, however, perhaps I would finally be able to reach the real ending of this story. What's so important about you? You don't understand. Oh, what's so important about us? I don't know. I feel as though we have a connection. You feel it too, don't you? This story is special to me, but I feel as though it may be special to you too. You press one hand against your chest. Your heart flutters like the wings of a butterfly. She may be right. In fact, you are sure she is. Why else does your heart pound when she speaks to you? So, what do you say? There is nothing to say. You find yourself nodding in dumb agreement. This woman, whoever she is, takes your breath away. Perfect! Now why don't you take a seat, my esteemed guest? You discover to your surprise that you are sitting in an armchair. When did that happen? This is a very curious library indeed. Let us begin. We shall dive into the story together. We have all the time in the world. Read the story. Yeah, here we go. Whoosh. Once on a windswept night. Cool. Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, there was a traveler. Now you are probably thinking that this is not a particularly exciting beginning to this tale, and neither is it at all that original. No, it's not. There are travelers from all walks of life who wander across lands both near and far for innumerable reasons. Business, pleasure, or just plain necessity. This story, however, is a little different. It is not an epic sweeping tale of grand adventure. There are no sword fights nor dragons, and no princesses sealed away in high towers. This is a lot smaller than that. Okay, humbler. It is a simple story about how one such traveler, who should have been unremarkably all accounts, stumbled upon a secret tucked away in a small, dusty corner where a few bothered to venture, and managed to change the lives of two young women. Yes, that sounds like an interesting story. Wouldn't you agree, Chelsea? What? Sure. I don't know. What about you guys? Oh, I just made it terrible. A traveler. Ugh. I can't believe this. The shadowy figure was tramping through the moors, a hood drawn over in their face. Rain pelted the figure from all sides, and the wind stirred the edges of their worn traveling cloak. Still, the figure did not slow down in their solitary march. They could not. If they did, they might collapse from fatigue. Then they would never be able to get back up again. The rain on these desolate moors was unforgiving. It fell from the gray, overcast sky endlessly, threatening to submerge the landscape with water. Not that the landscape was much to look at, really. No, there isn't much there. There were a few scrubby, weather-blasted bushes and a withered old tree that seemed ready to collapse. That was all. It was the traveler's first time in Daquoise, and they were not particularly impressed. That accursed goblin. What did he take me for? If I see him again, I'll wring his neck. The traveler cursed under their breath. There was no reason for them to do so, as there was nobody within 100 miles who could hear them, but it made them feel a bit better. It gave them a reason to keep going. Revenge. They couldn't let themselves die out here, not until they had tracked down that conniving, backstabbing rogue and... what? Killed him? No, that would never work. The traveler was a merchant, not a mercenary, and they had never killed anybody before. They were a vegetarian, for goodness sake. Okay, they would have to do something else then, but what? Maybe this was nothing more than foolishness. Daquoise was a large country, and the goblin would be long gone by now. They would never see him again. No, I can't go back down. I will find him. I will. Ooh. The traveler's ear... Okay then. The traveler's ears twitched. Their nose was running. Ew, gross. They sniffed, trying to stem a trail of snot that was beginning to trickle from their right nostril. It wasn't very appealing. The rain had seeped through the traveling cloak, and the traveler's skin was icy cold. Even their shoes were waterlogged, and they were good shoes, too. High-quality dragon hide from the best tailor in Charlotte. Not that it mattered now. They were ruined. Oh, your poor shoes. Heck, goblin. I'll have to find him. I'll show him what for. He could have dropped me off outside the village gates, but no. It's only a 5-minute walk, he said. Follow the path, he said. What path? The traveler had been duped and they knew it. That goblin had not only taken their money, but had refused to deliver them to their destination. They had been walking for 5 hours and had still not encountered a single dwelling. The rain was getting heavier. The traveler did not fancy their chances. What if they died? But life has always had a way of providing when needed the most. When things look grim and we have all lost hope, there was always a light to guide us. A light that takes us by the metaphorical hand and envelops us in warmth. At least, that's how the stories work. It would be a tragically short tale if the main character died within the first 5 minutes. Yes, that would be very tragic. It was when the traveler finally accepted the possibility of their own imminent death, with teary eyes and a snotty nose, that they chanced upon it. Salvation. There in the distance over the tops of one of the many hills was a shape, a structure, a building. It was no piece of mere vegetation like the other markers that dotted the environment. This shadow, though faint, had walls and a roof, and there were lights flickering in the windows, like fireflies. Ah, the traveler gulped. They had almost succumbed to the cold. Their fiery indignation towards the goblin had faded alongside the last scraps of strength, and they had been on the verge of surrender. Sweet, blissful surrender. But they could hardly do that now. They had to keep going. Yes, never give up. Oh, hello there. The nun? Oh no. Oh my. Are you all right? The sodden traveler was met in the entrance of the church by a young woman wearing the garb of a nun. Her habit was navy. Her hair was cornflower blonde and her eyes were blue. These blue eyes were fringed by very long, pale eyelashes, and when she blinked, the traveler feared she might lacerate her own irises with them. Such was their length. In a word, she was pretty, almost inhumanly so. Enough to take the traveler's breath away. I am fine. But the traveler was uneasy on their feet and they faltered. I think, I might need to sit down for a few moments. But of course. Please rest a while. The nun took hold of the traveler's hand. Her skin was soft and warm, and the traveler's face flushed from the close contact. Not that the nun noticed. The traveler's face was, after all, still obscured by a heavy hood. The nun led the traveler to one of the wooden pews, and the travelers sat. They had not realized how exhausted they were until the pressure had been taken off their feet. So I've just noticed that the travelers referred to they and their. I just wanted to point that out. I don't know why. Oh dear. You are exhausted. You should stay here for the night. Oh no. I couldn't. I don't want to oppose. And there was somewhere else I need to be. Don't be silly. It's raining witches and warlocks outside. It's alright. I'm rather durable. The traveler raised one slender arm, the folds of their cloak fluttering, tried to flex their muscles. The nun is not impressed. Though she was a soft woman with gentle curves and golden hair, there was a certain hardness about her. Schoolmistressy, perhaps. That made one point absolutely apparent. If she wanted to care for somebody, she would, no matter how unwilling that somebody was. The traveler is weak against people like this. That is very impressive, but you are dripping wet. You will catch your death of cold. Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger? And whatever does kill you, kills you. Yes. I didn't think of that. And it is a good thing you chanced upon this church. We don't get many visitors. The nun's voice trailed off, and the traveler felt inclined to ask why that was. sounded like the beginning of a story, some narrative thread one would do well to follow. But the nun shook her head and the moment passed. Are you hungry? The traveler was hungry, starving in fact, but they had more pressing concerns to address. I was wondering if you could answer a question. And what might that be? How far away is Castella? Castella? I suppose it's a good 10 miles away. It would take 2 hours to reach on foot. In this weather, however, it could take as much as 4 or 5. 10 miles? So much for 5 minutes down the path. That tricksy goblin! That goblin, when I see him, I'll hit him so hard his ancestors will feel it. Goblin? Are you by any chance going to the market in Castella? That's right, I have wares to sell and I need to sell them. It is imperative I get to the village before the break of day so I can set up my stall. You say that you need to, but it is not possible. The rain is too great, and your condition... Who cares about my condition? If I don't make any sales, I wouldn't have enough money to eat. That's the reality of life. Especially after the traveler had given that goblin 5 gold coins. 5 gold coins was not especially large sum, but it all added up. The nun, however, remained firm. If you want to know who cares about your condition, I do. As a servant of Lady Madeline, it would be a grave sin for me to let you leave in this state. It is a suicide march. You will die. But, no buts. But I don't even know you. Why do you care so much? Because it is my calling to care. I don't want to see any more people suffer. Not this time. The "not this time" hung in the air, suspended by its own ellipsis. It was again an invitation to ask questions, a loose thread in a story that was only just unraveling. But it had not unraveled enough. Not yet. There were further introductions to be done. There will be no more arguing. You'll stay here tonight, whether you want to or not. Psst. What a pain. It was not. The traveler had to admit their finest hour. Now you must go get some food in your belly. When was the last time you ate? I'm not sure. 6 or 7 hours ago, maybe? That will never do. I'll have to tell Daffodil. Daffodil? She's the other sister who tends to this church. I will wake her and tell her about you, and we can make you some food. Oh no, you don't need to wake anybody. Not on my account. But I must. It is my duty as a sister. And though the traveler wanted to object, it was their duty as a merchant to sell their wares. They could not. That expression on the nun's face was so determined it would have felt like a great cruelty to rob her of this chance. I will tell Daffodil. You meanwhile will remain here. I will? You must. Alright. You can look around a bit if you wish, but there isn't anything particularly interesting. You can try to steal their valuables if you have a half a mind to pursue a career as a criminal, but you'd be wasting your time. There isn't anything here worth stealing. You make me sound like some sort of rogue. I was not trying to accuse you. I was simply informing you of our financial circumstances. The churches have been in a state of decline as of late. Is that why there are only 2 sisters working here? It is a bit complicated. A troubled expression fell upon the nun's countenance, and the traveler felt guilty for having asked the question at all. It was clear that there was a deeper mystery afoot, but the traveler did not know what. So, the nun clapped her hands together. Before I leave, is there anything would you like to know? Yes, I just realized. You haven't told me your name. My name? Oh. The nun blinked, her spiky lashes fluttering. Once again, the traveler worried if her lashes might pierce those clear blue eyes of hers and they would leak optical fluid down her cheeks. That's some powerful lashes. That was mere fancy, however, and such a gory scene did not truly transpire. It has been such a while since anybody has asked my name. I quite forgot. I apologize for my rudeness. It was quite the oversight. It's fine, I don't mind. You are giving me a place to stay. Yes, well, the nun smiled a soft, charming smile, accentuated by a light pink tinge to her cheeks, and ducked her head. My name is Madeline. Hi, Madeline. Like the goddess? Like the goddess indeed. I fear it is quite a feat to live up to. Well, I wouldn't be so sure about that. From what little the travelers knew about Madeline, she seemed like a perfect goddess to them already. Oh boy, that was interesting. Oh. The travelers sat on the wooden pew and glanced around about the church with a mild interest. Now that they were alone, with only the dim sound of the falling rain and howling wind to accompany them, they were afforded more of a chance to explore. The church was a ramshackle building. Lent to one side like an old man, everything had an air of disuse. The stone floor was covered in marks and scratches, the pews dented and worn with age. Stained glass windows ran with rain, slick and wet. The altar in the corner, festooned by shadows, seemed almost watchful, and most peculiar of all. Nice. There was a tree. It was a withered old thing, perhaps even older than the church itself. It grew by the altar, its trunk sprouting up through the stone floor as though it has always been there, and the church hadn't grown organically about it. Maybe it had always been there. It looked old enough. A traveler shifted, their behind brushing against a rusted nail. Ow! The nail sagged on the fabric of their cloak, digging against skin, and it hurt. Madeline had only been gone a scant handful of minutes, and the traveler did not know when she would return. What should they do while waiting for her? Examine the tree. Of all the aspects of the church that had piqued the traveler's interest, it would have to be that. The tree. Wow, there's some loud stomping with cautious footsteps. Very cautious footsteps. Still trembling from residual cold, the traveler rose to their feet. The spindly tree was depressing from afar. It was doubly so up close. The branches were withered and wasted like a malnourished limbs. Though the tree bore leaves, they were mottled with age, and it did not bear any fruit. Perhaps it could not. The traveler swallowed. For some reason, the tree was disconcerting. In fact, foolish though it sounded, it was almost as though the tree was calling to them. Woo! The whisperer in the darkness. Achievement unlocked. Me? Plea. I wasn't paying attention. I apologize. Hell. Me. Whoa. The traveler's ears, hidden beneath the folds of the cloak, flattened against their skull. What kind of traveler are we? Are we a dog or something? If they listened closely above the moaning of the wind and the falling of the rain, they could hear something. They swore they could hear something, but maybe it was their imagination. They were being foolish. It was just a tree. Nothing more and nothing less. Alright, then, forgetting about it. Oh, hi, Daffodil. Who on earth are you? Daffodil, as it transpires, not nearly as welcoming as Madeline. Maybe it was because she had just been woken, but the traveler is more inclined to believe Daffodil was a disagreeable girl by nature. There was something about her face that seemed to say without words, I am thoroughly unlikable. Not even the nun's garb could dampen this impression that the traveler had of her. Okay. This is the traveler I told you about, Daffodil. They are here to stay in this church overnight to rest and recuperate. I don't know if I trust them. They're a complete stranger. That may be the case, but isn't it our duty to care for our neighbors, even those who may come from foreign lands? But isn't it also our duty to look after ourselves so we can continue to serve the community? For all we know, this traveler could be a wanted criminal, a serial killer. Just imagine. I don't think you're a serial killer. You aren't a serial killer, are you? Like a real serial killer would admit to that, idiot. The traveler is inclined to agree with Daffodil, but let the comments slide. I wasn't a serial killer the last time I checked, but I might change my mind when I get a hold of that goblin. You were traveling with a goblin? For a few hours, yes. Then that settles it. We can't trust this person, Madeline. Nobody who travels with goblins can be reputable. Daffodil, don't be so prejudiced. There's nothing wrong with goblins. They're cheaters and swindlers, and they don't hesitate to stab people in the back if they can make a few gold coins. For all we know, this traveler, Daffodil made quotation marks with her fingers, could be a goblin themselves. We don't know what they look like. Yes, I did wonder about that. You should take your cloak off. It is drenched with rain, and you'll get sick. Oh, a traveler faltered. Though their hood was heavy with rainwater, they had not even considered removing it. They could not. If it is all the same to you, I would prefer they keep the cloak on. I am sensitive to, the light. You a vampire? But it's dark in here. Not dark enough, I might get a rash. I have sensitive skin. This is all very suspicious. Forgive me if I don't trust you instantly. I'm not expecting you to. I never asked you to trust me. I was rather surprised I missed some... Madeline? Just Madeline is fine. That Madeline was so accommodating. I didn't expect it. Madeline is like that. She's far too nice for her own good. She takes in all the mongrels that turn up at our doorstep, and I'm the one who has to clean up after. Daffodil prodded Madeline in the side with her elbow. Do you remember that time you insisted we take in this old beggar asking for bread, only for him to steal her bronze candlesticks? Well, at least we helped the poor old man. His clothes were ragged, he was so very thin. I hope the candlesticks were of use to him. He sold them for food and lodgings. Daffodil rolled her eyes. As always, Madeline, you are far too nice for your own good. But we must be nice. There aren't enough nice people in this world. You agree with me, don't you? You know, Madeline? You're right. We need more people. We need more nice people in the world. There's not enough. Whoop. Oh, me? Yes, you. Well, this was quite a quandary. The traveler had not wanted to get dragged into an argument, but now they had no choice. No, Madeline should not be more careful. She is right. Little Miss Sunshine. You think so? I quite agree. Daffodil folded her arms across her chest and turned her nose up in the air. She seemed none too impressed by the traveler's reply. They're just saying that because if you want to get on Madeline's good side. Not that that's very hard. Well, yes, she puts up with you after all. That was what the traveler wanted to say, but they did not. Burning bridges with Daffodil a scant 5 minutes into their introduction would not do them any favors, particularly when Madeline was so fond of her. Why was Madeline so fond of her? It was a mystery wrapped in an enigma. Anyway, should I begin the preparations for a simple meal? Oh yes, that would be lovely. Thank you very much. It's nothing really. You're far better at cooking than I am. That's only to be expected, given your upbringing. I wasn't very good at cooking when I first started either. I guess that makes me feel better. If you would prefer, I could prepare the food while you attend to our guest. No thank you, I'd rather cut myself with a knife in 15 different places and rub salt into my wounds. Oh. Ouch. Is my company really that repellent? It is repugnant. And you don't deserve to eat Madeline's cooking. You haven't earned the right. Somebody is rather protective. Don't mind Daffodil too much. She says harsh things, but she has a big heart. She doesn't want me to get hurt. It's not like that, really. You're reading too much into it. Daffodil folded her arms and turned her nose up in the air. I don't know how you managed without me for so long, Madeline. You're hopeless. That may be the case, but when I'm with you, I feel rather less hopeless. You give me strength. Stupid! Don't just come out with sappy lines like that. But it's true. Oh, whatever. Oh, there she goes. So, saying, the younger nun departed to prepare the food. A serene, gentle stillness settled upon the pair that remained broken only by the sounds of the falling rain. Just as Madeline had predicted, the rain still had not let up. It probably wouldn't stop until long into the night. By that point, it would be too late to depart for Castella. The travelers sighed. Their plans had been well and truly scuppered. Great. Don't you just love it when that happens? Oh, hello again. The meal Daffodil prepared was a rather simple affair. It was a thick vegetable soup served in an earthenware bowl with a piece of brown bread on the side. The vegetables had been cut awkwardly with an experienced hand. Parts of the soup were burnt. The bread, meanwhile, was inexpertly made and sunken in the middle like a crater. The outer shell was hard enough to break teeth, while the middle was chewy and curiously textureless. Nevertheless, the traveler was hungry and made rather short work of Daffodil's less than impressive offering. The young nun watched as the traveler ate their food, shoveling into the dark recess where their mouth should have been, and frowned. What do you think? Is it good? I don't want to hurt her feelings. I'll just lie and say it's good. That's such an obvious lie. It isn't good at all. Okay, you know what? I feel like we wouldn't have won either way. But despite being willy enough to see through the traveler's blatant falsehoods, Daffodil's cheeks still flushed. It seemed though she knew she was being lied to. The lie still made her happy. Humans were such complex, contradictory creatures. Okay, so we're not human, that much I know. So, Madeline smiled warmly, as was her wont, when the traveler set their empty bowl and plate to one side. It's getting rather late. I believe Daffodil and I will return in soon, but I fear that would be rather lonely for you. Lonely? Indeed, I would not want you sitting in the vestry on your own. I would feel guilty. Just leave them to it, Madeline. You're giving them a roof over their head and a place to sleep. Isn't that enough? But of company. Rabbits die if they get too lonely. Aww. Don't leave your rabbits alone. Travelers stiffened at this comment, but neither woman noticed. Instead, Daffodil rolled her eyes. She rolled her eyes a lot. It was probably bad for her. Maybe they would fall out of her skull one day. Please, the traveler might be many things, but I'm sure they're not a rabbit. For one thing, rabbits can't talk. Well, I suppose you're right. So our esteemed guest, more like unwanted nuisance. Would you care for some company tonight? If you desire it, I would not mind staying with you. When Madeline asked that, the traveler found it hard to resist. They really had no choice. We don't have a choice? Okay, well that sucks. Are you sure you're alright in those damp clothes? Oh, thank you for your concern, but I will be fine. Madeline did not look convinced, but she let it slide. For that, the traveler was grateful. Even so, the expression on Madeline's face. All of a sudden, it looked horribly sad. Had they done something to offend her? I'm not wearing this cloak because I don't trust you. I can't take it off. Not for your sake, or Daffodil's, or even my own. I hope you understand. The traveler did not know why, but they did not want to upset Madeline. Okay. Though they hardly knew the woman, she was sweet and soft and gentle, the kind of person whose smile can enlighten your heart, whose frowns can pierce it like thorns. If they had been with Daffodil, Traveler would not have cared one whit about causing any potential offense. Madeline was different. Okay, the nun looked surprised, so I read the Traveler's comment and she blinked. Oh, I'm not offended. Please do not worry on my behalf. But you look so sad, I didn't know what else to say. I am sad, but not because of you. Not entirely. So is it partially because of me? Well, it is, isn't it? Madeline directed her gaze upwards at the vaulted roof of the church. It was still raining outside. The rainwater tapped against the stained glass windows instantly, asking to be let in. Knowing Madeline, she was the kind of woman who would have opened the worm-eaten wooden doors to welcome the rain. Huh, okay. I just think it's sad that you feel the need to hide your face. Not that I'm trying to coerce you into removing your hood. If you do not want to, you do not have to. There's your own prerogative, but... I cannot help but wonder, though, it may seem rude of me. What kind of life must you have led to make you so very secretive? Like I said, it's the sunlight. It's bad for my skin. But it's dark right now. The Traveler, unbeknownst to Madeline, bit their lower lip. Perhaps they could have removed their hood. They did not know Madeline well, but they did not feel the nun would judge them for their appearance. Yet the Traveler could not. They reached upwards with tremendous hands, but froze in the act of revealing their face. Being scorned by such a sweet woman would have hurt too much. Anyway, I apologize for making the atmosphere awkward. It was rude of me. We are going to be together for quite some time, and it does not appear that the rain will stop anytime soon, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Questions? The Traveler glanced about the church, at the wooden pews, the cobwebs in the corners, and the withered tree by the altar, and pondered. I'm not going to ask any questions right now. I'm going to leave them until the next video. Sorry for stopping it at such a spot. But I'm going to leave the episode here. And if you enjoyed this game, please hit that button down below. And like always, I will catch you all in the next video. Stay awesome. Bye.